Hi there. Welcome to the next episode of the Wake Up to Your Life podcast. I'm your host, Colleen Odegaard. Today we are talking about the freedom of being misunderstood, how to care less what other people think. Do you spend a lot of time worrying about what other people think? You're in a meeting at work and you say something in the meeting and you're met with these kind of blank stares, and now you're convinced that your colleagues think you're an idiot, that you don't know what you're talking about. You're worried what they're thinking of you. Maybe you post on social media and you're worried people think you're bragging, or that you're weird, or they don't get you, or people are saying things about you behind your back. You don't get a lot of likes. Now you're up in your head about it, worrying what others think. Maybe it's an ex partner who you think is saying bad things about you behind your back. Maybe it's someone in your family, you're related to. You're worried what they're thinking about you. I have spent an unbelievable amount of energy trying to make sure that people understood me, know my heart, know my motives, know my intentions. I would lose sleep over it. If I was involved in any kind of what could be a misunderstanding with another person, it would just cause me to lose sleep. I'd ruminate. And rumination, by the way, is a dead end. A dead end. If you find yourself in a loop in your brain over and over, oh my gosh, what if I'd only said that? Or maybe I should try this. It's a dead end, much of the time. Somewhere along the way, I learned and I'm still learning it, to be fair. Somewhere along the way, I learned that it is freedom. It is freedom when you can accept that people are allowed to misunderstand you. I now accept that people are allowed to misunderstand me. It's okay for people not to like me. It's okay for people to misunderstand you and not like you. And I know as I say it, you go, ooh, if you're a people pleaser at all. Colleen, producer Colleen, is nodding her head. Yes.
Yes.
You suffer from this?
Sure.
Yeah.
I feel like, yeah. Especially I think like in this business, you kind of, most people that are like us, like, yeah.
Yeah,
kind of want us
For
people
sure.
to like you. Yeah.
Of course, I think we all do. We all want to be liked, but we just don't have to spend so much time trying to change other people's opinions of us. So, first off, it's normal that we feel this way, that we care what other people think. We want people to understand us and to like us because we want to be part of a community. We want to belong. It makes sense. We're all wired like this. We want people to think well of us. When I hear people say, I don't care what anyone thinks of me, I just don't care, I don't believe them. You hear a lot of women on social media in my age range, in their 50s. I'll hear lots of those midlife influencers. They get online and they'll say things like, what's great about being in your 50s? You just don't care anymore. You just tell it like it is, and you just don't care what people think. I'm not buying it. I do think that they still care what people think. I know that I sure do. And it's right to care what other people think. We just don't need to worry about what everybody thinks. Okay to worry what some people think. People who are sort of the stakeholders in your life, who have prime real estate in your heart, your board of directors in your mind, the people that you invite into the innermost parts of your life, we should care what they think. Your spouse, your partner, a mentor, your pastor, your rabbi, maybe it is. Those certain people in your life, your very best friend, people who really know you, we care what they think. So sometimes we need to be corrected, right? If we're about to, jump off into the deep end without a life vest, then we don't know how to swim. We do need people in our lives who will call us out on it. But it's right to care what people think. We shouldn't. But how can you care less? How can you care a little bit less what the outliers are saying about you? Right? Are you worried about strangers on social media? Are you worried what strangers on social media are thinking about you? That's where we can kind of start to lighten the load. You don't need to get everyone to like you or understand you. You do need to just accept that some people won't like you and some people won't understand you. And it's okay. And I know that when I say it, it makes you cringe a little bit. Like, I can't stand for someone not to like me. I used to be like that. And I still am sometimes, but you can bounce back much quicker and remember what is true. You will be freer and happier if you can learn to accept it. So I have a challenging relationship, two very challenging relationships in my life with people from my family of origin. Very troubling. We don't get along for many, many reasons. And it's one of the greatest heartbreaks in my life. one of the greatest heartbreaks. And, these people would hurl insults and accusations at me, and then I would hurl them right back, right? I would just get in there and hurl them right back, or I'd get into this defending myself and why they were saying what they were saying wasn't true or wasn't okay. Because I think what they're accusing me of couldn't be further from the truth. If they really knew me, if they knew my heart, maybe if I just said this or did this, they'd get it and they'd see how wrong they are about me. But after decades of this, I had the painful realization that sometimes people don't understand us, not because they lack information. They have information. They misunderstand us because it's the story that they have decided to believe. And there's not a darn thing you can do about it. Not a thing. That realization is what changes everything. If you have people-pleasing tendencies, you're super paralyzed and worried what other people think of you, or you're not okay with being misunderstood. When you can accept that some people just won't get it no matter what you do, that takes your heart from feeling constricted. I don't know about you, but when I get that way, my heart feels tight, it's hard to breathe, and my world feels very small and compacted and constricted. But when I can go, okay, she is saying all these things about me. Do I think these things are true, not true? Are they maybe true? Yeah, they're not true. They're not true. It's okay. She's okay. It's okay for her to think that about me. It helps me to loosen it and makes everything more expansive. Try that on for size. If you have conflict with a person, you can try that and see how that feels to you. The cost of worrying so much about what others are thinking about you is high, is it not? If you're constantly worried about it, you can't create, it's hard to be innovative, you lose your peace, your joy, your energy, your confidence, your presence. I think you lose some of that too. You become sort of like the PR control person in your life, where you're trying to change people's opinions and you're always explaining and always defending. And that, my friends, is exhausting, is it not? So I say all this, but keep in mind, if you are not living with integrity, if you are not living with integrity, if you are running around taking your anxiety and your past hurts and your past traumas and smearing them all over everybody else, you may need to be corrected. You may need to hear other people's opinions of you. Again, the trusted people, your board of directors, the people with prime real estate in your heart. We listen to them, not strangers on the internet. We're not concerned about them. But if you are living your life with integrity and you are living from your values, and some people just don't agree with what it is that you're doing, that's a lot of family members, right? If you say, I'm going to quit this job and I'm going to do this one, I'm going to move across the country, I'm going to get married, I'm going to get divorced, and someone in your family says, well, that's a terrible decision. Okay, you can hear them out if they're a trusted person, but ultimately, if you know in your heart of hearts that this is your next right step, then go for it. And that other person doesn't have to agree with you. It may cause strain in your relationship, right? It might. But then you look at what's really going on in that relationship. We will take a break right now and come back with more on how you can care a little bit less what everybody thinks of you, other people's opinions, and really be willing to be misunderstood. You are watching Wake Up to Your Life on WCNC. Welcome back to Wake Up to Your Life. If you are enjoying the show, please let your friends know. If you think someone could benefit from this episode, I hope that you will tell them or share a link. Again, we're talking about other people's opinions of you, how to care a little bit less what other people think, and being willing to be misunderstood. Because on the other side of that, there is freedom if you are a chronic worrier of what other people think. So let's talk a little bit of the freedom that comes with being able to let go of this. Freedom isn't getting people to change their minds and be all on board with you and what you're doing. That is not freedom. Freedom is realizing that they don't need to be on board. That's where the freedom is. So these people in my family who I have a very difficult relationship with say certain things about me, and I do my check of, okay, is there any truth to what it is that they're saying? No, there's not. because I don't want to skip over that. This is not licensed to be a jerk, right? A lot of people say, like, if people don't agree with me, screw them and forget that. That's not at all what I'm telling you to do. Really do that gut check. Hopefully you do some kind of inner practice where you're thinking about these things, you're working on these things, and I would venture to guess you do. If you've stayed with me this long throughout the show, you probably are that kind of a person. But freedom isn't getting everyone to agree with you. Freedom is really realizing that they don't have to. If you have a hard time with that, couple of things you can try. Opinionate strongly about yourself. The more strongly you opinionate about yourself, that you think, I try my best to live with integrity, to live from my values. I screw up sometimes, and sometimes I can get mad at people who cut me off in traffic, but I try to be a good human. A lot of times I get it right. If you can say those things about you, and you know that, you're making this decision to get married, get divorced, take the job, leave the job, those kinds of things, and you've got people in your life disagreeing with you, but you've done the work to make the best decision you can, it helps you. The stronger you are in yourself, you won't care so much what other people think. So, for example, when I used to, for a period of time, I had a coaching business, and I would do this podcast on different platforms, but I would talk about this kind of stuff that I talk about here. And when I would post on Instagram, I'd get worried that people would think, well, who does she think she is? Does she think she knows everything about, how does she know what she's talking about? And I'd get all up in my head worried that people would think that. The gut check I would do with myself is, wait a minute, is this coming from a place of authenticity? Is it coming from a place of wisdom? Not just some nonsense I heard out in the ether, but is it coming from a place of wisdom? And if the answer wasn't yes, then I wouldn't post it. But if I knew that the answer was yes, then I was okay with you talking about me or saying, oh, look at who does she think she is? I didn't like it, but I could relax into it because I know that what I'm saying, I believe that what I was saying was important and could help somebody. When you're so worried and paralyzed by what everyone thinks, you don't do anything. It's hard to affect any kind of change in your community or to create or put yourself out there or to help other people if you just stay like a quiet little mouse and you never say anything and you never use your voice and share what it is that you think and believe. Because I know there are things that you want to do right now and you're not doing them because you're worried what your mother-in-law is going to say. You're worried what your neighbors are going to say. You're worried about what your colleagues are going to say. You're worried about what your acquaintances will say. You're so worried about it. How can we make those voices, turn the volume down on some of those voices? Again, it's opinionating about yourself and knowing that you are living from what is true and beautiful and authentic in you. That will help. Just remember, your integrity speaks louder than your defense. If you're running around defending everything all the time, well, I'm doing this because X, Y, and Z, and I need you to understand it. Sometimes people just won't understand it. You totally got to be cool with it, man. You gotta let it go. I promise you will feel so much lighter. I'm not saying it's easy to do. And again, it's not saying we don't care, because these might be important people in your life. If you're having a hard time, you're typically close with your mother and she's not getting something that you're doing and she doesn't approve of it. That can be a very difficult thing, for sure. And we don't cut out your mom if you don't want to. That's not what I'm suggesting. But accepting it and saying, okay, you've said your piece. Thank you very much. I'm going and doing this anyway, right? And then being kinder to other people too. That helps us to, I think if you're like in a low vibe, gossipy, talking crap phase of your life, and we've all been there, right? We've all been there when we've done that. If you're in that phase of your life, examine what that's bringing to you, right? It's not great. It's not great. If you want people saying good things about you, you say good things about them when they leave the room. Your friends, by the way, should be speaking well of you when you get up and leave the table. If you've got friends who are, the second you get up, they're going, oh my God, what is she wearing? They're not necessarily your truest friends. They could be your friends, but you might want to relook at that group and see, are these the people I want to be spending my time with? So keep these things in mind. You don't have to attend every misunderstanding that you're invited to if somebody really can't let it go. There's a situation in my life right now, and it's to do with my upcoming marriage. I'm getting married in October of 2026. Thank you, producer Colleen. Yes, I'm very excited about it. Very excited. And there are some people who have some feelings about that. And I don't like it. I don't like it. But I have to be okay. I have to be okay. I know what I'm doing. We're getting married in October. That's not changing. So what has helped me to loosen it up is to just go, okay, you've expressed your displeasure. Got it. There's nothing I can do. I don't need to convince them why it's right? I could very easily get into that. Well, this is why it's right. I'm in love, and I know what I'm doing now, and this is true, and we're so happy, and this is, I just have to do it. I could get into all that story, but why? This other person has already made up their mind that it's not a good idea. I'm not interested in having a fight and attending that misunderstanding and defending my position. So think about those areas of your life where you might be better served to take a deep breath. Think about creating space. I want that to resonate with you, because whenever I think about being in conflict or being very worried or anxious about other people and all the strife in life, it's that constricted, tight feeling. Think about opening that up. And even physically, as I say it, take an exhale. It just feels better, right? You want your heart to be open. You want greater access to that creativity that exists in you that it's hard to reach when you're crunched down and you hate everybody because they don't agree with you. Makes sense? I hope it's landing for you. Your character is built over time. It's not in just one conversation. Keep that in mind too. Keep doing the gut check to make sure you're living right. And remembering this, remember this too. People often see you through the lens of their own experience, their own fears, their own traumas. They see you through a lens that you have no control over. None. You know how you've met people in your life and for some reason they just rub you wrong and you decide it right away. You go, I don't like that guy. And you just know it within 5 minutes. Something about him rubs me wrong. He could be perfectly delightful. That has more to do with you than it does with that guy a lot of times, right? So just remember that. It's the same thing with you, with other people. So be willing to be misunderstood. Be willing to not care so much about what everybody thinks. We just take into consideration what the most important people in our life think. The most respected, most important people who care about you and who you go to time and time again for counsel, for advice, for wisdom. Think about those people. You care what they think. So you can double check with them. But as far as the outliers, we just got to put them in their place, right? And I promise if you can learn how to do this, you will start to find your voice. You'll start to take more chances. You'll apply for the job that you're not sure you're totally qualified for. Hey, how about that? You just go for it. You're going to show up online the way you want to. Maybe you'll start your podcast. Maybe you'll write the first chapter of your book. Maybe you'll try a new sport. Maybe you'll ask someone out on a date. It just helps so much better. We're paralyzed if we are waiting for other people's approval all the time. You will not be able to move forward. But if you can find it for yourself, it really helps. Learn how to be your own best friend. That sounded really corny. I don't know where that came from, but it's learn how to be able to be a supporter of yourself. It is your job to do that. I give it a shot. Experiment with this. If you're a people pleaser, let me know how it goes for you. You can send me an email, codegaard@wcnc.com. You can also find me on Instagram. Again, best of luck to you spelling my name. I can barely spell it, but it's at Colleen_Odegaard. We'll put it up here on the screen for you right now. You can send me a DM on Instagram. I will admit I kind of suck at checking DMs. I'm trying to get better. I'm trying to read all of them and respond to you in a timely fashion. But I hope that this resonates with you. If there's something you'd like to see here on this program, or if you know someone who'd be a great guest, please let me know. I'd love to hear from you. Again, try this on for size. Let me know how it works. You have been watching Wake Up to Your Life. I'm rooting for you.